Kicking it off?
Yeah.
Hey there, and welcome to Our Stitching Chronicles, the craft podcast where every stitch tells a story.
We're your hosts. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Kendall. We're here to chat, stitch, and explore the stories of our stitching.
So grab your yarn, find a comfy spot, and knit along with us as we share some stories, adventures, and hopefully a few laughs along the way, and some projects.
Let's cast on chapter 11 of Our Stitching Chronicles.
Alrighty.
So, again, two very small finished items for me.
Two pretty mega finished items for me.
Yep. And a couple new cast-ons.
Yeah.
So,
should we start with what you're wearing, Kendall?
Yes. So, this is the Yours Truly collar from the Kutovakika book, Knits to Wear. I was working on this last pod. And I think I finished it that same day. We went out for lunch afterwards and I was like, oh, did my I-cord and I was done.
And you were so worried about that I-cord.
I know, it was fine.
And I know. Yeah.
It was, Well, I just didn't know how to start the I-cord and then attach it in later, but it was fine.
Yeah.
2-day project.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. So 48 hours start to finish, not knitting up the whole time, had other things going on, but would be a great little gift knit. And even my friend saw me wearing it. She's like, oh, I want one. I was like, oh, I'll think about it.
It's so beautiful. Love the detailing.
Yeah. Probably my biggest thing with it is finding like the right top to style it with.
Yeah, it works quite well with that one. I love
bring in
this
the colour.
top, not going to lie. Isn't this a gorgeous top?
I love it. So it is half-baked hand-dyed, which is an Australian brand in their 8 ply, bit more like a worsted, in their colour Penny Princess.
And where did you buy that yarn?
I bought it at Fibre Feast last year.
Which is coming around the corner again.
It is. A couple more months.
Excited.
Anything else to say about it? Oh, I think I said last time I was worried about being a bit oversized, but because of the tie, it's fine.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool to have like one that was a little bit longer and a bit more like a cape.
Yes. Could you
that
do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just have to decide where you're going to do the repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
It looks so good on you.
Great stash buster.
Yeah. How many meters did you use?
That is a great question. So total meterage, 92 meters.
Okay, cool.
So a good little, so it's about 50, like 50% half of the ball.
Yeah.
So good little stash buster.
Nice.
Good
So
little
you
gift.
could make 2 of them.
You could.
Quite easily with one ball. There you go.
Yep.
Gift knits, guys.
Just
2
take 'em.
days.
Nice little charted
Yeah.
chart to follow.
Love.
Easy. Not a lot to say.
Cool. Well done.
There we go.
Well,
You are also wearing a finished item.
I am also wearing a finished item. I finished my love letter top. Now let me just stand to show you this beautiful, because I want to show you the bottom here because I want to talk about these love hearts. But this is my love letter top by Kutovakika. As you know, it was one of the last projects that I had to finish in order to be able to cast on something new. I had this one and another one that I had to finish. I have actually really loved working on this. I just, the yarn was a little bit splitty, which that's totally fine. I think any cotton yarn that you would use would have a similar issue. This is a cotton viscose linen blend. It's the Drops Bell in the colour beige or light beige, hang on. So it's in the colour beige. And I mean, this was just, I think because of the chart and how much concentration and time it took, it was something that I didn't pick up often. But when I did, it was so addictive and just soothing. And you go through the charts and they're actually quite intuitive charts.
Yeah. Because you're making little pictures.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You're making these beautiful like leaf type things. Then you've got the diamonds, which is like smaller versions of what's in the salty days. Then you've got love hearts here. I mean, how gorgeous are these little love
and
hearts?
then the pattern you've got there is the same one, or very similar to what's here.
This one here, it's almost like, let me come back up closer for you. This one, there's the love hearts, and then this one here is what's on your thing, except a smaller version. And that's up here as well. And then on the bottom, it's got those bobble love hearts. Now, the bobble love hearts, here's me in the last podcast going, oh, I've only got 11 centimetres to go. It won't take me long at all.
Me? Have you got to the bubbles yet, Sarah?
because the bobbles, I actually really loved her way of doing bobbles in these. It was a very, I don't know, simple. You didn't have to turn it at all.
Yeah.
The fiddliest part was, anyway, I won't go into all of that. So I really liked the way she did the bobbles. In this, I'm going to have to pull up a better spot where you can't see my tummy. Hang on.
Yeah, we can still see your tummy.
I know. In this bobble here, where is it? I've got there. In all of them across, so this like middle one that makes it into the heart, every single one of them all the way around. I forgot to do the yarn over on that.
Oh, yeah.
So basically...
Push it to the front as much.
Yeah, so basically what happened is this one here ended up with like one less stitch in the bobble than all of the rest. And so it sits a lot flatter than the others, and so therefore it doesn't stand out as much. I did pop into Skein Machine yesterday to pick up some things, and I was telling JMO about it, and he suggested I stuff something behind, like in there to like push it forward. But I've realised, I had a look at it, the way that she has done these is they sit flush. Like there's no, again, let me stand up. There's no like hole where you could stuff something in. It looks
You could put a little bead, I reckon.
Potentially. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't, I was debating whether it bothers me enough to frog it and redo it, and then the thought of redoing all those bobbles, and I was like, no, definitely does not bother me enough to redo it at all.
And I've been waiting for you to finish because I think, and I wish I brought mine to compare it, I've been suspicious that there's been a mistake in mine, and I think there is.
Oh, what?
I think at this part up here, I think I've got a purl row here.
Oh.
Which I've always looked at going, it looks funny.
No, there isn't a purl row.
I'll have to go home and have a look and take a photo and compare it. Mine's a darker colour, so it doesn't really stand out as much.
Anyway, this is my love letter, and I am so happy with it.
It does make me want to do one in a lighter colour because the pattern is way more obvious.
Yeah, it is. I'm just so in love with it.
You should be.
Really proud, very happy. Yes, and this took me... I don't actually know how much yarn I used for this one because I bought this for another project. I just had like leftover balls, random balls. I could weigh it.
You could weigh it.
I could weigh it. Yeah, so I'll weigh it. Maybe I'll put something on the screen that says how many grams it is, so therefore roughly how much yarn I would have used.
Yep.
But highly recommend, worth it. Really great, fun pattern. The I-cords didn't actually take me that long.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I thought they'd take a lot longer. You only had the neck and the two.
That gives me hope for the
things.
Sailor Swift.
Yeah, I think it's a mental thing. What I did was I actually like timed how long it took me to do 10 stitches.
Oh, yeah.
And so then in my head I was like, okay, it only took me like 20 seconds to do 10 stitches.
Yeah.
I've got X amount of stitches. It'll only take me this many minutes.
I think for me it's the pickup.
And then
it's
I had, the pickup, yeah.
I'm like...
No. I put off the pickup for days.
Yeah.
And then, so I got this done in a day and I got both of these done in a day and a half.
Yeah.
It was the picking up stitches. I think I waited like multiple days in between each to just have the effort and energy.
Pause. I'm actually just watching out there. There's a butterfly just perched on your door. And it keeps flitting and flying around.
Oh, hopefully a pretty butterfly.
Yeah, it's monarch.
Oh, beautiful.
None of this moth business.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's just distracted by the
beautiful butterfly.
monarch. Yeah.
That is my love letter, and I think that's all I have to say.
Cool.
Yes.
My next finished object also goes into a whip, so keep going.
Okay, I will do well, as I said, I had 2 whips that I needed to finish to be free of my cast-on-itis stress. I've been watching a lot of podcasts and found out that my cast-on-itis was not really that bad.
No.
It felt a lot for me. I guess every person is different. But I also finished...
Just because you'd be comparing yourself to me, and I never have cast-on-itis.
That's actually probably so true. I've got my buddy over here who's very much like 1, maybe 2 projects on the go, and I'm like 20. And then I never get anything. My issue is I feel like I'm not making any progress on anything, and that stresses me out.
I've got 3 on the go at the moment.
Ooh, that's huge for you.
It is. It's basically 9.
Yeah. I think I've got 9 of them going.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have that many. I have finally finished my simple things.
So good.
And I am in love. I will probably put a photo of me wearing it up just because it's very just like boxy and it doesn't look like much. But when I'm wearing it, I really love how it sort of sits and fits. Because I made it quite cropped, because I just was so over knitting the body of this that I was like, I'm done, that's long enough. I did a split hem, and I have to say, best decision I've ever made. So the split hem is not in the pattern. I chose that. Best decision I ever made because it just sits on my body so nicely as a result. The sleeves are a perfect length. I'm so glad I did the mid-project blog.
Yeah.
Everything about this is probably my new favourite jumper.
Also, I'm just going to pause Sarah talking because I don't know if you can see, but the fabric in this yarn and the tension.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Look, the yarn, I think it was, so I used Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury 8-ply. And I used 4mm needles, so I had to go down a size to meet gauge. And even then I was still off gauge. So I decided I would knit a size smaller. So I was going to knit the size small in order to get the size medium. And it was quite a tight knit, like, I don't know, tight stitch gauge, which made it quite tiring to knit.
Yeah,
it was,
you've said that.
Yeah,
Like
it was very hard on my hands, which is why I think I struggled knitting this so much. Hated the process, love the result. I would consider knitting one again in a different yarn, like a lighter yarn, maybe a sport weight or something. But I don't know if you can see in the video, it has peeled a little bit, but I think a little bit of a shave just to get that excess kind of fluff off of it. Yeah. I have worn this multiple times, even though we're in summer.
Yeah.
I've had opportunity, crazy.
It's been cooler at night.
Cold summer.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of opportunities to wear this, so really happy. I don't think I have much more to say about it though. I've exhausted my talk.
It's featured a few times.
For those that haven't watched, I did end up, when I got to the sleeves and I was picking up stitches for the sleeves, realised that I'd actually knit a size extra small and not a small.
But
that was fun.
It's okay. It's worked out.
It's turned out perfectly. Like, there was so much positive ease in this, and I don't look great with mass amounts of positive ease. Or like, if I do, I have to wear really tight pants.
Balance it out.
Yeah. So having a little less positive ease is probably not a bad thing for me.
We call that the incredible silhouette.
Yeah. Yes. So that one, and that freed me up. That was my last really major stressful whip that I wanted to get done.
Yep.
And I think it will be my new favourite because it's just so basic and simple.
Yeah. Simple things. Who would have thought? And again, that is from Knits to Wear?
That is from the Knits to Wear book, yes. So it was that one there. Great book if you have not bought it. It's not the coffee run.
Oh, no,
coffee run's great.
You know what you're doing.
I do know what I'm doing.
You're the Kutovakika expert.
Out of this duo, I am. I'm in a Kutovakika whip right now with a whip knit along rather with hosted by the Lovely Day Knits, and I think there's some people who will give me a run for my money on Kutovakika 11.
Right, let me grab my next. I won't talk about these next finished item and whip too much because we've covered in excess the last 4 podcasts, I reckon.
Yeah.
I was working on these during the last podcast and I think I finished them that day or day after.
Yeah.
But this is my kids' version of the Seroto sock.
I love these.
Because I had enough yarn left over from mine, but not for a full adult sock. So my little kids' ones.
Gorgeous.
So that will be a gift knit because they ain't fitting me.
No.
So kids' version of that one. Which then we spoke last time about our acquisition, which was the Yarnacopia collaboration with We Are Wool People.
Yeah, and it leads us into our whips, FYI.
Yes. So, one finished sock.
Can I just
Yep.
hold it up for you? Oh my gosh. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
Like a little bit Christmassy, but it's more of a grey than a white. So
that is gorgeous.
Yeah. Real happy?
I absolutely love.
And then that's my progress on the other one. Just a little cuff. But the only thing I've done differently, and I think I did this on the other sock as well, is I changed the order of the chart so that the first like knit row was coming out of the pearls, so that the pattern was more obvious from the start.
Hang on. Try that again.
So I've just swapped the order of the chart. If you're familiar with the pattern, I just started on like line 5.
Yeah, so then it's, that makes
It just
sense.
made the bubble look more obvious from the start rather than like a line.
Yeah.
But that was all.
Awesome.
Yep.
And you're just started your second one.
Just started my second.
Done the cuff.
Yep. Just a little one.
I need to cast mine on.
Yeah, you do.
Before the 31st so that I can
I need to post a photo.
I needed to knit mine in 2mm needles though to meet gauge. So because my last ones were just that little bit too big. So I finally went and bought some yesterday. So I'll be able to cake up and cast on.
It'll be so little.
The needles?
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's going to hurt my life. No, it's not. It's going to be fine. It's fine. I'm not stressed.
I'm stressed for her.
You're stressed. It's only 0.25mm smaller than what I normally use.
I know, just feels little.
Let's have a look. What whips do I have? Oops. All right, I don't know what whip to talk about first, but I do. I won't show this bag because this bag is
It's coming in later.
But I have been making some fabulous progress on my sweetheart jumper. And I'm in love. First of all, now that I've joined in the round, the pattern repeats are just so easy. And the round's just going so quickly, just like so fast. I think I've done 2.5 repeats of the chart. It is technically 2 charts, but the way that the second chart is, it's for the cable and it's really easy. I've just said like right cross, left cross on the original chart. Yep. So then I only have to look at the one chart, which makes it really handy. I have learnt how to do a 2x2 left and right cross cable without a cable needle because it saves so much time, these beautiful cables here. So I'm knitting this in drops Flora and drops Kid Silk. So Flora is an alpaca cotton blend. No, it's not. It's an alpaca wool blend. And mixed it with Kid Silk. I think the pattern actually called for 1 4-ply and 2 lace weights, and I'm just doing 1 4-ply and 1 lace weight. I am knitting the size medium to compensate for that because I usually size down for Kutovakika. I would normally knit a medium in most things, but I tend to do a small in a lot of kikas. So I have stuck with the medium. It is looking a little small and it fits quite snugly, but it will stretch out in blocking because of the lace.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with it. Even if it is a little bit tighter, I don't care. I'm going away to Japan next year and I will be there during cherry blossom. So I want to have it done for that. I feel like it will be the perfect.
If you get time and if you remember, do a pre-blocking and a post-blocking.
Yes.
Because I think that will be similar to the poetry pullover.
Yeah, that will have a great little glow up.
Yeah.
So that's my first whip.
All right. I will go with my bit of a journey with this one. Yes, my second. I had the Wallami Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn in Blue Gum, and I was looking for the perfect pattern that it would do. Like, I want it to be cabley. So my original idea was I was to do something cabley, and I was looking at the cable projects, and I didn't really like how they joined at the underarm. They looked a bit funny and bulky, so I was like, well, I don't really want to go with any of them. So then I found one called the Cloudy Days by Alicia Plummer. And that looked really cool. They had like little balloon bubbles all over it. It was really textured. So I started gauging that one and I just didn't like it. It was really gappy. I knew that like on my body it would be fine, but as you said, any of like the overhanging, you'd get light shining through it and it wouldn't look good. And then I thought, well, I'll go and buy some Bendigo Woolen Mills lilt, because they just put that back in stock in a beautiful marine colour. So I went and did that, gauged up again, swatched up again to check my gauge, and I still didn't love it. So I was like, okay. Great pattern. I'll put it aside.
You started it though, didn't you?
I don't know if I started, but I went to start it and it was bottom up.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like,
That's right.
no.
Final straw.
I had actually swatched for this one both times and just wasn't feeling it.
Yep.
So then I was like, I've got two options. First option was the Salty Days. I was just going to go back and do a Salty Days in a nice blue colour.
Yeah.
And my other option was the Book Club Pullover by Sari Nordlund.
Yep.
Which I've made the cardigan version, but I was like, I could do the pullover. I don't have to do the button band. Really easy throw on jumper for when I need it. So I went with that one. So this is the Wallaby, the blue, beautiful blue gum colour. And then this is the lilt, the mohair and silk mix.
Yep.
In marine. And then this is where I've got to so far on the Book Club Pullover.
I love this.
Oh no. So I've put the back on hold and I've started picking up for the front.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
So
And it feels so soft.
yeah.
I've been very curious to feel the lilt.
Me too. Yeah.
And see if it would be, and it feels so much less itchy than the drops, which is all I've ever used for mohair.
Yeah.
How exciting.
So that's fun. It's like you were saying, it's a little bit brain intensive, so it takes me a bit to pick it up and get into it. I haven't worked on it this week at all. Worked on it a fair bit last week, but once you're in it, it's fine. But it's like it's a chart. And I've been working on something else that has not been a chart, so
Ooh, can't wait to see that
we'll get
as
to that.
well.
But yes, I think that'll be great. It's just going to take me a little bit. Be my summer project to have ready for, autumn.
Autumn. Yes, yeah, totally. You can totally have that ready for then.
Yeah.
And you rate both those yarns?
Love them both.
Excellent. All right, my next whip. Actually, do you know what? That's the last whip that the pod has seen before, and my next whips are all fresh. Yes. How exciting! So I cheated, and when I finished the simple things, and before I finished this, I cast on something new. Okay. My argument for that was other than a sock that I'm knitting for my husband. Oh, yeah, I have that, but I don't have that here. It's in my room. I could go get it. Other than the sock I'm knitting for my husband, I did not have anything that wasn't charted.
Yeah.
Need to have a pattern.
Yeah.
Need to pay attention. So, and like cross off all my rows. And I just wanted something that I could just work. Yep. So I cast on the Sabai top.
I haven't seen this.
By Paulastrickt.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry for my pronunciation of that.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, I have finished the front that you knit flat, and I've cast on no, you don't pick up stitches. So this is a really interesting pattern where you cast on in the round, you knit a couple of rounds, doing increases just up here on these two shoulders. It's the only place. And then you put the back half on hold, knit the front.
Oh yeah.
And then you come back to what you put on hold at the back. This is what I have. So, I mean, it's black, so you can't see a great deal.
How are you going with that?
Fine.
Okay.
Completely fine.
I haven't knitted with black.
And I knit it with the lights off at night time, as in like the lights dimmed at night time, and I've just got a neck light that helps. But because I'm knitting on stainless steel, I can see those stitches completely fine. Yeah. But yes, I'm up to the like the underarm increases of the back, so I don't have much left to go, and then I'll be joining it in the round and then just chum.
Yeah.
I am knitting this in the the only issue I have is these balls fall apart so easily.
Rewind them?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. The Fibra Natura cottonwood, 100% organic cotton.
That was from the place up at Stirling, right?
Yes, yeah. Caught up with a friend when visited that place in Stirling. I bought this. There is 105 meters to a 50 gram ball, so that's a good 8 ply. I met gauge on the recommended needles, which was no, I did not meet gauge. The recommended needles are 4 millimeter. I went down to 3.75, and I got row and knit gauge, like stitch gauge, which is what? Because both are really important in this pattern. This row gauge is probably more important because of the underarm,
which is rare.
And yeah, that is my Sabai top. Really enjoying it. Great. I am saving it though for Queensland. That's my
to work on.
I want something easy to work on while I'm there. So that is that.
Ooh. All right, on to my next whip. I was at Seed, which is a clothing brand here in Australia. I was there last week, and I looked up at the shelf, and they had 2 knits on display, and they were one was blue and white with stripes, and one was red and white with stripes, and it was like identical to your Sailor Swift.
Yep.
And so I'll insert the photo. Yep. Or Sarah will insert the photo.
Yeah. Photo will be inserted.
Yep. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have the red background colour, and I have leftover cream stripes. And I'm like, I could just make my own from home. Could buy it for $50 in store. Could make it myself at home when I have the yarn. We are probably playing a little bit of yarn chicken.
Yep.
But what I found when we made the Sailor Swift the first time is I just bought way too much yarn.
Yeah.
So I weighed it, made some alterations in the pattern, which I'll show you. But I'm loving it. So this is 10 days of progress. But this has been my main project just because, as you were saying, just stocking it, can just fly through it.
It's that time of the year where I just feel like you
don't have the brain space.
Yeah. But look at these colours.
So obviously I haven't done the I-cord for the neck and the armholes, so it's kind of stretching out a little bit.
Look at those deep armholes.
We'll cinch that up soon.
Jim Bro tank.
But this is coming along.
That is so good. I love these colours. Now, Kendall, can you tell us a little bit about the stripe?
Unintentionally Christmas themed. So on the original one, you do 6 rows of the background colour and then 2 rows of the contrast. But because I knew I was running out, that's all we've got left, guys.
We got this.
Also, I didn't realise that when you get 4-ply from Bendigo Wool and Mills, it literally comes with like 600 metres. A lot of yarn. So I'm just going to keep going until the reddy orange colour runs out, and then I'll either use what I've got left for the armholes, or I'll do the I-cord in the white. I'm not fussed. But because I knew I was running out of yarn, I changed the ratio. So it's 4 background colour to every 2 of the contrast. It just means that the stripes are a little bit close together, which I don't mind, and it is working out so far. I had to kind of write down some of the changes to the pattern because the increases were falling on the contrast colour rows, but it was fine. I just made sure that when it came to joining, I was up to the same colour each time.
Yep.
So you can't tell. So I really like it. I did ladder back because I found a splitty one like back here yesterday. So I laddered back all the rows, but you can't tell. So
that would be so hard to do with colour work.
No. It's really easy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Especially because it's 4 to 2. You just have to make sure you pick them up in the right order, and the colour work kind of helps you find it.
Beautiful.
But yeah,
it's just so smart.
Love it.
I do too.
Good little summer staple.
Yes.
Doesn't have white as the background this time, has the red.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm thinking I'm going to have to...
Me. I'm not really into summer knits, also me.
I love summer knits. I don't know how you're not into them.
I just hadn't got there yet.
They're quick.
I hadn't found the inspo.
They're fun. They use less yarn, so they're cost effective.
You've got scraps in the cupboard.
Yes.
So, yeah.
No, fantastic.
This was left over from a crochet garment that was like a cardigan.
Yeah. Love.
But yeah, so
I'd like
that
to see
is my other whip.
Beautiful. All right, my next whip, and it's probably my last major whip. I have a couple, obviously, like my Arctic Light, the Joy Scarf, and the socks that I'm knitting for my husband. I haven't made too much progress on that, so there'll be another pod episode. I'll show you all of those. My last probably major whip that I'm working on at the moment was the whip that I cast on when I finished this. Again, it is something that I am going to I feel like I've been forgetting to say no, it's fine.
Sarah's brain just broke for a second.
It does that. Anyway, no. I mentioned I am going to Japan in cherry blossom seasons, and so this is another whip that I am making for that. I bought this yarn with you when we went on our yarn crawl. So I am knitting the Robinson's Wrap by Park and Knit or Park Williams, however.
No, that's not what it was.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It was Florence Miller.
Where did I even get Park and Knit from?
That's your vacation vest. Her brain is broken.
Oh, it is. Let's try that again.
The Robinson Wrap Cardigan by Florence Miller.
Okay, let me start again. I am knitting the Robinson Wrap by Florence Miller, and let me show you. This is all I've done so far.
Ooh.
Because this is a wrap cardigan, sorry, this is going to have like 4,000 stitches on the needles. I'm doing every second row at the moment increases 10 stitches, and I have to do 9 of those increase rows.
Yep.
So I'm increasing by 90 stitches.
Wow.
Yep, so that's fun, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually like, the knit rows go really quickly, the purl rows go quite slowly, but I don't mind that. I'm telling myself to enjoy the process. I really like this yarn. It's the same yarn that you
Chaska?
used to knit your matcha
jumper.
I am knitting it in this colour, which is like a pearl colour. I remember you expressing concern that it might look very bridal, and I'm also feeling that concern. And I looked in the patterns, and someone actually did knit this in white for their bridal. But once I finished it, I'll try it on with some jeans and a top.
You're not wearing it over a white dress.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'll see how it looks. If I don't love it, I'll dye it. Like, it's not that hard, is it? Famous last. I've never dyed anything.
You have to be careful. What's the content? The fibre content? It's a blend, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kid silk, and
because sometimes it will take to one part of the
and not the other.
I don't mind
that. I don't mind that. I don't mind if it's a colour with a bit of white contrast. That would look really good.
Did you swatch?
Yes.
So you could, yeah,
actually. So I did swatch. I met gauge.
you could do a test dye on that if you needed to.
I could. We'll see. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty open. I'm pretty flexible. I'm not actually that worried. I think with a pair of blue jeans or black jeans, this would look really good. I think the only thing I will have to consider, I don't know if you can see, let me turn it the right way around. You can't see it very well in the video, which is good because maybe that's what it'll look like in real life. But it is a little sheer, and so I would probably have to wear light colours under it. Like I couldn't wear a dark. But I think that's really any white cardigan. Yeah. I did swatch. I met gauge on 4mm needles, which I actually do believe was what the pattern called for. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. But I'm pretty sure for the first time in my life I met gauge.
There you go.
With the recommended needles. And this yarn is considered a light DK.
Questionable.
But I chose a pattern. It is questionable, honestly. But I did choose a pattern specifically that asked for a 4-ply with a mohair. Yeah. So the pattern wants 4-ply with mohair. This is a yarn that is a wool. I can't remember what wool with mohair content.
I think it's just merino.
Yeah. It's probably, like...
Because it's like Chaska Alpaca Farms, but there's no alpaca in it.
No, so Alpaca Farms is so
brand.
interesting. Yeah, it's the alpaca by New Zealand or something. It was the same people that made my Sporty.
Yeah.
But Chaska is like the
name of it.
The type.
Yeah.
The model.
Yeah.
And
Chaska
Sporty
puree.
is the model. Yeah. Anyway, but because there's other Chaska yarns. There's Chaska Puree, there's Chaska whatever. Anyway, it's a very confusing brand, but really good. I really like a lot of their things. But anyway, so it's a wool with a mohair content. So I figured, you know what, it is sort of like a 4-ply with mohair attached to it. So, yeah.
I think you could use it in place of a 5-ply.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
5-ply, 4-ply with mohair, but not an 8-ply, really.
Well, I mean, I did for it. Yeah, it just adds a bit more air to it rather than...
And this is so light, which is why I was thinking...
That's a good match for it.
For Japan.
Yeah.
Because they have quite cool mornings, but warmer days. Yeah.
Good pick.
That is my last.
Here we go.
I've got one other little whip to show you, but... Do you have another whip?
Nope.
Oh, well, then I'll show you my one last other whip. This isn't really a whip sort of situation. It's exciting.
Whip.
Got me whip, watch me, Benny. I did not just do that.
Lucky we don't go live or...
Yeah, could you imagine us doing a live? Anyway.
I can, and it would end poorly.
Okay, my last whip, if you will, I decided to cake up my first ever skein of hand-dyed yarn.
Fun!
So I caked it up.
Yes. Which if you haven't gone and watched... If you haven't gone and watched Sarah's spinning stories, you should.
Yes, I did talk about all my spinning adventures. Caked up my first ever spun yarn that I've spun myself.
Cool.
And I've cast on, I don't know what it is, to be honest. Probably my dad.
It's artistic.
Let me get my words together. I'm giving it to my dad because he bought me the spinning wheel, and so I wanted to give him the first ever yarn. Now, there wasn't enough to make anything significant, so I actually also caked up my second ever hand-dyed hand-dyed, self-spun yarn.
Yep.
And I'm just making this.
Yeah, cool.
And so I'll just keep knitting in this rectangle until I run out of this, and then I will top it with this.
Yep.
It's roughly about half. It may not match completely. It is very artistic. You really can see like the different, like where it's chunky and where it's thin, but I really think it looks so cool. Dad said that he'll probably, because it won't be long enough for a scarf, but he'll probably frame it and just put it up in his...
I was going to say, you could also kind of like, depending on the length you get to, like cinch it in and have a rectangle beanie. You could, but I don't know if it will work.
I reckon it'll probably, be.
Yeah.
I was thinking like table runner situation, something like that. But no, he said he wants to frame it and put it up. So, hey, it's his. He can do what he wants with it.
Don't have to worry about washing it if it's framed.
Yeah, exactly. So that is my last little thing that I'm just, but it's knit on 10mm needles, and I am not a fan.
Oh.
So I'm a big fan of 4-inch needle tips, as you know.
Yeah.
I've decided I don't like 4-inch needle tips on bigger needles. I need like 5 or even more. Yeah, so that's that. That's just a bit of fun.
Love it.
Nothing too serious. I'm not
Nothing too serious.
Not
just
a fan of
spinning my own yarn.
Just spinning my own yarn. Oh, but in our acquisitions, I will show you my.
Can't wait.
I'm most proud. That's it. That's all my whips.
Cool. Well, roll along to acquisitions. I have a couple that I couldn't bring with me.
Why?
Well, because I got my Christmas and birthday present early.
Oh, yes. Christmas and birthday. We'll do them in... Or you can put a video in.
Yeah. So my husband bought me for Christmas and birthday, because my birthday's February. He bought me the Lykke, Lykke,
Lykke.
Yarn Swift and Yarn Winder. Isn't they beautiful?
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't have anything to cake up my yarn, so...
Best husband ever.
He was like, oh, you don't really you're not taking any projects.
Sorry, I had to add that in there. My husband obviously is the best husband ever.
You're not taking any projects, like on the go anywhere. And I was like, oh, that's because I can't wind up the sock yarn. And so he just put them out on the couch.
Did he tell you?
I knew he'd got them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a say in which ones?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
No. I had said that that's what I want.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It works beautifully. I love it.
Well done. Well done, what am I saying? Congratulations,
Thank you.
that's so exciting.
No longer have to use Sarah's.
Oh, and I would like to get
Swift.
a better quality both because, I mean, mine are just very cheap ones that I bought
I don't
when I
have
first
to hold
started.
it on a weird angle.
Yeah, and hold the tensioner in place.
And a couple of times where it just kind of like doubles over, but it hasn't like gotten caught underneath because it can't. So that's great. Other acquisitions, I acquired. Sarah influenced me.
I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm proud of that. In this situation, I am. Someone commented on a video and said that the dynamic of you and I is the best. It's the perfect blend of encouraging supporter and enabler.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I was like, yes, that is the best kind of friendship.
Well, it's because you'd sent me the photo of the Yours Truly collar to make. And then I also wanted to cast on the coffee run sweater. And I was like, I can't just keep using Sarah's book.
No.
So I went and bought it. Whoop. So I'm going to make this one. In a red. I've been influenced. I bought knits to wear. I can cast on the coffee run sweater once my yarn arrives.
Yes.
It's stuck in England at the moment.
Oh, still?
Yeah, since the 6th of December. So it's been just over a week.
Why?
It's cleared and it's waiting. But like once it goes, it will just be overnight and then be here. But it's just taking a little bit. She's also invested because she's got some yarn in there.
I did order some yarn. It's very exciting. But we will talk about that in the new year when it arrives.
Yep.
I am so excited that you bought that book and we can have matching outfits.
Your neutral coffee run, my bright red coffee run.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous of the bright red. I am actually considering knitting another coffee run in a slightly thicker yarn with smaller needles for a more tight gauge.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just because you can. It's like me with the matcha.
Yeah.
I want to do one with a tighter,
Yep.
denser fabric.
Yep. Is that all your acquisitions? You got something else, didn't you?
Yarn.
What was the other thing you bought?
No. Like some needle tips, but we don't.
Oh, you bought something online? You didn't end up buying it from...
I did buy something else. Hang on. Merry Christmas!
Oh! This is unexpected. I didn't get you a Christmas
You didn't have
present.
to. It's fine.
Oh, guys, you get to... Do I open it now?
You open it now so then I can talk about it because
Oh, okay. She's lucky I have a terrible memory. She's probably told me this already.
loosely. It was slightly spontaneous.
This is a bit exciting. It's a book.
It's a book. It kind of makes up that we couldn't get the Kutovakika pattern thing box.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So I also bought my own one.
About this.
So-
Yes.
Hence, I'm like, I can't talk about it until I give it to you.
Oh my
There's stickers in the back. I'm so excited about the stickers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Let me just put them on the floor. These are the stickers here. Oh my gosh, so you can say, oh my gosh. This is so cool.
And then it's got like different exercises to improve like your techniques in knitting.
Gift knitting, I don't think that's enough for me. Oh my gosh.
And that's to dress up the sheep that's at the front.
Oh, can we do this together in 2026?
That's the plan. So you can put them in the sheep.
Oh, you can knit anything. Oh my gosh, I love. Oh, Kendall, thank you so much.
So it's got little exercises that you can go through to like try out different stitches and then talk about your progress. It's like a teacher's dream. It's like a little student workbook for knitting.
Yes.
And then there's room at the back to go like, this is the project and this is what it's looking like and this is what I learned. Yeah, love it.
So I'm sure you guys have probably figured out by some of the things that we've said, but we're both teachers. I have left the teaching profession and I've just finished I've done my studies to be a speech pathologist. Just in case you were all wondering.
Merry Christmas, happy graduation.
I'm so happy.
But it matches with this one, but I haven't got you that one. But
Oh, what's that one?
knitting bag of tricks, patty lines. Over 70 sanity saving hacks for better knitting. It's really good for understanding the how behind the knitting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cool. You got one of these though, right?
I got one.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I was like,
but you might want to invest in one of them because I discovered that the book mentions it.
Okay.
But the library also has copies.
Oh, handy.
So.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Kendall. That's so sweet. I'm so excited. We're going to do this in 2026.
Yeah.
I love that I got to open that with you guys. All right.
So that was my other acquisition because...
Yes. Well, now it's my acquisition too.
Yes.
I got this.
We would have got the Kutovakika like special pack bag, but it was too expensive.
Yeah. And also, I think it had to be on there like that fast. I was so tempted.
I was awake. I woke up randomly.
Yeah, I was not. And I would have been so tempted just because, you know, I love Kutovakika, but...
But I think, what did I say it came to? Like 200 Australian?
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot of yarn.
That's a lot of yarn we could buy.
So, not this time.
Yeah. But maybe next time. I didn't...
You wouldn't?
Buy any... Oh, hang on. I haven't bought any yarn. However, I have bought some fleece. So I popped into Skein Machine yesterday just specifically, well, no, not specifically to buy this. I wanted some fleece to be able to keep practicing spinning over holidays when the guild is shut.
Yep.
And I knew that Skein Machine stocked Ashford fleece, and someone in the guild had been talking about how soft it is. And I thought, you know what, it's Corriedale. I thought, I want to try it. So I did. I bought myself a little bit of this. So it's 100 grams, and I thought if I spin it well enough, I could actually use it as a contrast color in a sweater.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose that color and that amount. The main reason that I went in was I put up a little poll on Instagram. No, it wasn't even a poll. It was just like a question
box. Yeah.
Has anyone ever had any troubles flying within Australia with their knitting needles? Generally, the consensus is around Australia there hasn't been any problems. Some people said it's best to have them off your knitting. Some people said it's best to have it on your knitting.
Some people went the way of smuggling it in.
Actually, that was also an online suggestion, was putting it in your...
Like if you've got a pencil case or like a makeup bag.
Yeah. But I liked the idea of keeping it on the knitting because then they can see, oh,
that's what it is.
She's knitting something. She's fine. Like, she's not going to be trying.
I've taken it through and like not even a question. Like they don't even quiz me on it. So they must work out what it is.
So that's within Australia. However, because I am going to Japan and I have heard more scary things about Japanese flights in particular.
In Singapore Airlines quite strict too.
Well, thankfully I'm not flying there. So I didn't want to run the risk in Japan, and especially I'm going quite a long way to get to Japan, and I'm going to have a lot of hours in the air. I saved myself like $1,000 or more though, so you know, worth it. So I just bought these Knit Pro Basic. It's not working. There you go. Because they're not overly expensive, but they're not so cheap that they'd be gross to work with. But they're cheap enough that I'd be sad if they took them away, but not devastated.
Yeah.
So I just got a couple of sizes, and I got my 2mm shorties so that I can cast on my Serotos, which might do that today with you here. Then the other thing that I bought myself, I finally got myself an Emma Ball bag. If you don't know me, I am a little bit in love with Emma Ball and her little design. I love her stuff. I've got like tins, I've got stitch markers, I've got mugs, I've got little pencil cases, and I needed to get myself a bag for my travels. So Skein Machine hitting me up with the goods. The last thing I want to show you, the lucky last thing I want to show you is I started spinning my Bendigo Wool & Mills fleece. And I did all of this in a day. I did one whole bobbin at my spinning group because I'm no longer in the class. I have graduated. So I now get to go to the groups on a Wednesday night. And I spun, I think it was this one, while I was there.
So cool.
And there we go. Can you see how like consistent-ish that is? And then I did this one at home before I left. So I'll ply them together. I actually think I've spun too much. I'm going to need to ply it and cut it and then ply it because it won't all fit on the bobbin when plied. And I'm hoping it makes a DK kind of weight. I'll be okay if it's 10 ply, and then I'm going to knit myself a jumper. Or should I dye it before I knit it?
No.
I should probably dye it before I knit it. The yarn.
Do you want like...
I'm undecided if I want a white jumper.
Okay,
or if I want a coloured jumper. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, that is that. That is all my acquisitions. How good have I been? I did buy some online.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about that next time. So it doesn't count.
Because it doesn't arrive.
Yep. Yep.
That's everything.
Cool. All right, we need to finish up.
We do. This is our December video. Hopefully it'll come out before Christmas, but we do want to just wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we hope that you, whatever it is you may do, whether you celebrate Christmas or don't celebrate Christmas, that you get some time with family and just some downtime. Yeah. And we'll see you in the new year.
See you in the new year.
See you guys. Bye.